You didn't stumble onto this video by mere chance. No, this is a moment of divine timing. You've endured hardships and faced betrayal, and now those who wronged you have the audacity to play the victim. Listen closely, chosen ones. God has seen everything. He has witnessed the betrayal, the falsehoods, and the schemes they concocted to twist the narrative to serve their interests. They thought they could evade the consequences, but God had already warned them to leave you be. And now, justice is on the horizon. This message is urgent, for retribution is approaching. While they may still attempt to don the cloak of victimhood, God knows the truth. They set traps, spread rumors, and exerted every ounce of effort to tarnish your reputation. These were not mere petty fabrications. They aimed to make you appear as the villain. They dragged your name through the mud, seeking to tarnish every achievement you fought hard to attain. They wanted the world to view you with disdain, to render you seemingly untrustworthy. Some even plotted to lay legal charges at your feet, hoping to brand you with a lasting mark of shame and guilt. But their campaign of maligning you did not stop there. They targeted every corner of your existence, attempting to poison your relationships by whispering lies into the ears of those you held dear. Their strategy was to isolate you, to make you feel utterly alone and cornered. They desired for you to doubt yourself, to question your beliefs and convictions. By sullying your name, they aimed to instill uncertainty in others about your integrity. And that's precisely what they succeeded in doing, crafting rumors that pierced deeply into your core. But chosen ones hold on to this truth. No matter how profound their deceptions run, the truth has a way of rising to the surface. In their chase to ruin you, they inadvertently laid bare their own characters. The very lies they spun about you reflect their true selves. They thought their schemes were infallible, but they failed to grasp that every seed of deceit they sowed only led to their own ruin. They underestimated your resilience and, more importantly, God's protection over your life. After all their wrongdoing, they turned the tables. Suddenly, the very individuals who harmed you became the ones claiming injustice. They have summoned a narrative where they're the injured party, making it appear as if you were the source of turmoil. They twisted the story so expertly that some may have actually bought into their portrayal. It's akin to watching someone set a fire and then act as if they themselves were burned. But, chosen ones, here's the ultimate truth. God was aware of their deceit, even while they convinced others of their innocence. God discerned their hearts, while they crafted intricate manipulations to position themselves as the wronged individuals. God saw through their facades. He is not swayed by their games. He perceives not only the actions, but also the intentions behind them. If it felt like they were gliding without consequence, rest assured that the scales of justice are shifting back in your favor. Their masks are slipping, and soon everyone will witness their true nature for what it is. Though others may have bought into their lies and deception, God always knew the truth. He witnessed every act of betrayal. During the time you may have felt isolated and forsaken, as others turned against you, know that God never departed your side. He has been there, observing and documenting every injustice against you. While they suspected they might evade accountability, God's gaze was continually upon them. Every tear you cried and each silent prayer you uttered were heard by Him. Here's the crucial thing. God is not a passive observer. He is a God of justice. When He sees His chosen being attacked, He takes action. You may have felt like you were weathering the storm alone, but God was orchestrating things beyond the visible realm. What you perceived as a season of silence was, in fact, a time of divine preparation. God was preparing to unveil every lie, to turn every false narrative upside down, and to fortify you stronger than before. In those still moments when you pondered whether anyone stood with you, God was placing kindred souls in your life who would recognize the truth and stand beside you when it finally emerged. Your adversaries believed they could outsmart the universe, but they forgot that nothing escapes God's notice. He observed everything, and it's only a matter of time before His divine justice comes to light. Their actions were not random. They were calculated, motivated by envy and spite. They recognized your brilliance, your potential, and that frightened them. Instead of working on improving themselves, they concentrated their effort on dimming your radiance. Jealousy is a potent force. When they realized they could not measure up to your spirit, they resorted to dragging you down. The issue was never your shortcomings, but rather their deep-seated insecurities. They envied every trait you possessed, your strength, resilience, and unwavering faith. Unlike them, you didn't masquerade as someone you weren't, and that intimidated them. They could not bear to witness your success, your rise above the limitations they attempted to impose upon you. Every time you excelled, it mirrored their inadequacies. Rather than facing their flaws, they chose to lash out at you. Their jealousy was merely a reflection of their own inner turmoil. They loathed you because your spirit unsettled them. Your light illuminated their shadows, and they were unable to cope. They couldn't comprehend how, despite all their efforts to diminish you, you continued to ascend. Their envy blinded them to the reality that your greatness comes from a divine source, a gift that they can never extinguish. They believed they could snuff out your flame. However, in their efforts to do so, they only made it blaze even brighter. In their twisted reasoning, they thought themselves untouchable, convinced they could operate in the shadows without consequence. They genuinely believed their malevolent deeds would go unnoticed, even by God Himself. But let me remind you, God is aware of everything, especially regarding His chosen ones. There's no place to hide. Their sense of superiority was their downfall. They relished in a false sense of dominance, thinking they could manipulate situations and individuals without facing accountability. They looked down upon you with an arrogance that blinded them, making them believe they could outsmart both you and God. However, remember this: God has a way of humbling the proud. They may have felt invincible for a season, but now reality approaches rapidly. That facade of superiority is crumbling. The same individuals who once strutted with arrogance now find themselves struggling to maintain their facade. They thought they could hide behind their lies indefinitely, but God has a way of unveiling the hidden truths. The moment has come for them to confront the reality of their actions, and they are beginning to comprehend that no degree of pride can shield them from the repercussions of their misdeeds. Now that the masks have been removed, it's your turn to rise. Chosen. One's sanctuary is a space where true chosen ones gather to ascend above the illusions. While they attempt to maintain appearances, we are stepping into a realm of truth and unwavering power. No more pretenses, no more false superiority. This is where authenticity prevails. In the chosen one's sanctuary, you won't just observe as the truth manifests, you'll be equipped to shape your own destiny, liberated from the fabrications that once held you back. They're crumbling, but you are awakening stronger than ever. In the chosen one sanctuary, we're not simply discussing change, we're embodying it through exclusive insights, uncensored content, and potent manifestation techniques you won't encounter anywhere else. This sanctuary isn't for those still clutching to pride and facades. It's for the chosen ones who see beyond the surface and are prepared to embrace their divine purpose. Join us, and together we will ascend to heights they never imagined possible. The link is in the description. If you're ready to embrace your truth and cast aside the illusions, step into the Chosen One Sanctuary today. we're awaiting your arrival. Fooling God's chosen ones was their greatest error. They are starting to feel the repercussions of their actions, their schemes are collapsing, and they are learning that the wrongs they inflicted upon you are returning to haunt them. What they believed they could escape has morphed into their worst nightmare. The tables are turning, and they're just beginning to witness the consequences of their behavior unfold before their eyes. Their rudeness has met due reckoning, and it's crashing in on them in waves. The very plots they devised are dissipating, and their web of deceit is unraveling. People are starting to pierce through their lies, and the support they previously enjoyed is dwindling. What they relied upon, manipulation, deception, and arrogance, has now become the source of their undoing. They are losing their grip on the reality they once dominated, and the facade surrounding them is wearing thin. What was once intended for your undoing has now transformed into the very source of their anguish. This rude awakening that they are experiencing isn't merely about the fallout they're facing. It's about coming to grips with the truth that they took on someone who is divinely shielded. They've realized now that waging war against God's chosen comes with consequences that leave them unscathed. They may have thought they sidestepped the repercussions, but now their minds are in chaos, unable to find rest at night as they replay their actions over and over in their heads. The hurt they've caused you haunts their every waking moment. In this battle, they're grappling with mental torment, facing their inner demons head-on. Their guilt consumes them, and no matter how hard they try to drown it out, the oppressive weight refuses to lift. They believed they could move forward, but their conscience has now become their prison. The turmoil they are enduring is a direct result of their betrayal. Each lie they spun, and every time they skewed the truth, is now circling back around in ways they never anticipated. They might have hidden their deeds from others, but they can't hide from their own conscience, which relentlessly reminds them of the pain they've inflicted. The harder they try to suppress their guilt, the louder it grows, trapping them within their own minds and denying them any escape from the fallout of their choices. They thought they could proceed as if nothing ever happened, yet their actions continue to loom over them. Their guilt has become an inescapable companion, following them no matter where they try to go. They may attempt to maintain a brave facade in public, but behind closed doors, they are crumbling under the weight of their actions. Every sleepless night and every moment lost in regret serve as reminders that they cannot outrun the spiritual and emotional repercussions of their acts against a chosen one. Their betrayal has rendered them spiritually stagnant. They presumed they could hurt you and continue living their lives unpunished, but that's simply not how it works. Divine justice will not allow them to maim and still thrive spiritually. They find themselves caught in a cycle of stagnation. Each attempt to undermine you has instead constructed their own spiritual prison. While you are flourishing and advancing, they remain trapped, unable to break free. This stagnation extends beyond spiritual confines and seeps into every facet of their lives. Their relationships are faltering, their aspirations are stalled, and what once seemed like a clear path is now shrouded in confusion. They are left frustrated, questioning why everything seems to come to a halt. The answer is straightforward. You can't sow seeds of destruction and expect to reap blessings. Their lives, both spiritual and personal, are paralyzed as a direct consequence of their malevolent actions. What they fail to understand is that their stagnation is a form of divine justice. God has closed off every route of advancement until they acknowledge the damage they've caused. As you ascend, they are forced to watch from the sidelines while they remain mired in stagnation. They thought they were crafting their own success, but in reality, they were erecting walls that confine them within a prison of spiritual and emotional paralysis. Every attempt to tear you apart has led to their own unraveling. Every deception, every betrayal is returning to them with a vengeance. Now, they are facing the fallout in the form of illness, financial hard times, and deep-seated regret. Karma does not skip a beat. When they set their sights on God's chosen, they sealed their fate. They are now ensnared in the very mess they created, with no route for escape until they confront their karmic debt. The retribution they are experiencing isn't a mere blip, but a comprehensive unraveling of all they once held close. Their finances may be diminishing, opportunities are slipping away, and relationships are deteriorating as they reckon with the consequences of their destructive actions. In essence, every act against you was a seed sown toward their own undoing, and what they planted in malice, they are now harvesting in suffering. Karma has a way of manifesting itself differently than anticipated, striking in the areas where they thought they were secure, landing blows where it truly stings. They once believed they could steer their own fate, but now they are awakening to the reality that every action yields a reaction. The karmic wheel is turning, and it won't pause until they face the full impact of their deeds. They aimed to shatter your spirit, yet in essence, they succeeded only in breaking themselves. As one of the chosen, you are shielded by divine power. They thought their actions could harm you, but they failed to recognize that challenging you meant challenging God Himself. He placed a protective hand over your life, ensuring that, despite their malice, they could never bring about your destruction. Yes, they caused some pain, but it was never strong enough to obliterate you. God's protection has kept you safe from their vilest intentions from day one, with angels surrounding you to guard against their attacks. What they intended for evil, God has used for your elevation. Even in moments of vulnerability, God has been fortifying you behind the scenes. Each effort they made to bring you down merely reinforced your protective barriers. They didn't realize that every attack against you was a battle they were destined to lose. God's protection encompasses not just your physical being, but also fortifies your spirit, mind, and purpose. They sought to crush your spirit, but instead, you have emerged even stronger. They endeavored to shake your faith, but what happened instead was your faith deepened. Every blow they struck was caught by the divine armor God wrapped around you. You are untouchable, not solely due to your own strength, but because of the power of the one who advocates for you. God's justice may appear slow to us, but it is assuredly certain. Those who tried to harm you are already feeling the weight of their actions and have nowhere to hide from it. While they may have played the victim for a time, the truth eventually finds its way to the surface. God's judgment is final, and they will face the repercussions of their deeds. What was done in darkness will be illuminated, and they will be held accountable. They might have thought they could manipulate their way out of confronting their wrongdoings, but God's judgment doesn't work like that. He doesn't forget, nor does He overlook the wrongs committed against His chosen ones. Every scheme, every lie, every act of betrayal is under review, and God's justice is already in motion. For a time, they may have managed to deceive those around them, but they can't hope to deceive God. His judgment is both swift and eternal. The beauty of divine justice is found in its fairness. They will receive consequences aligned precisely with their actions. No more, no less. There's no evading it, no bargaining. God's judgment is inevitable, and they are already beginning to feel its repercussions. What they attempted to avoid is now drawing closer, and while they concoct their facades, the truth will ultimately be disclosed. God's justice cannot be outrun. While they are suffering the fruits of their own deeds, you are resting in a place of peace. God saw the evil in their hearts and has wisely removed them from your journey. Amidst their turmoil, you are rising. You've been elevated, and your heart, which has remained pure throughout your trials, has bestowed upon you divine favor. God has blessed you with peace, freeing you from the worries of those who sought to harm you. Your peace stands as a testament to God's faithfulness. Even during life's tempests, He has granted you a calm that transcends all understanding. While they are left tormented by their own actions, you no longer need to bear the weight of their betrayal. God has lifted that burden for you, freeing you to concentrate on your purpose, your growth, and your future. God's peace doesn't simply signify the absence of conflict. It embodies the presence of His divine blessings in your life. You are rising, chosen one, emerging victorious, all because you maintained your faith and refused to allow their actions to corrupt your heart. God is elevating you to new heights, showering you with blessings that remain untouched by their negativity. Your peace reflects your victory, a victory that was destined long before their offensive moves began. You are shining brighter than ever while they remain entrenched in the results of their actions. They presumed they could break you, but all their actions have accomplished is your enhancement. You have become more spiritually aligned, more powerful, and more focused than at any point before. The trials they sent your way have only propelled you upwards. Your radiant glow, your newfound strength, and your unwavering focus are undeniable. Your growth is a direct testament to the challenges you've risen above, and what they aimed to dismantle has, in fact, fashioned you into a stronger, wiser, and more purpose-driven individual. While they believed they could extinguish your light, they inadvertently intensified it. From their vantage point, they now witness the very thing they dreaded, the full bloom of your greatness. You are a living testament that no weapon formed against you shall prevail. Their attempts to destruct you merely highlight your resilience. You shine brighter than ever because you refuse to let their actions define you. You have transcended their negativity and now walk in the light of your divine purpose. Your elevation is not purely physical, it is profoundly spiritual. You are navigating a higher realm, guided by God's divine plan for your life. Release the negativity they attempted to impose on you. Their dark deeds are no longer burdens you have to bear. God has already set all things in order, and you are free to let go of the pain, anger, and bitterness. Continue to rise. Your future is far too luminous to be dragged down by their shadows. Move forward in your divine purpose unburdened by their malice. Forgiveness does not equate to forgetting what they have done. It signifies liberating yourself from the grip of their actions. By letting go of the past, you are not excusing their behavior, but consciously deciding to move forward without the heavy chains of their actions dragging you down. You have brighter horizons to focus on now. Chosen one, your growth, your purpose, and your divine calling are too significant to allow the bitterness of yesterday to weigh you down. As you release the past, you'll discover that your elevation accelerates. The more you let go, the higher you soar. God has already dealt with your adversaries. You don't need to carry their negativity with you. The past is behind you, and your future is abundant with divine favor, blessings, and growth. Continue moving forward with faith, trusting that God has paved your path. You remained steadfast, even when faced with their wickedness, and now God is rewarding you. Your righteousness in the wake of adversity hasn't been overlooked. God is elevating you, blessing you, and gifting you with favor. What they intended for your downfall, God has transformed into a launching pad to elevate you higher. Their actions have only propelled you onward, and now you are reaping the bountiful rewards for your steadfastness on your path. God's rewards for your unwavering faith are overflowing. Every challenge you confronted, every trial you endured, has been met with divine blessings. You stayed true to your course, and now blessings are flowing in that exceed your wildest imagination. Your faith has remained strong, and God is honoring that faith with abundance. abundance in tranquility, abundance in opportunities, and abundance in spiritual growth. The very things they sought to deprive you of are being restored to you tenfold. Your faithfulness has opened doors that no one can close, and God's favor rests upon you, manifesting the rewards of your resilience in every aspect of your life. You are living in the realization of God's promises, chosen one, and the most beautiful blessings are still to come. Keep moving forward with faith, for the rewards from God are far more profound than anything they attempted to steal from you. Chosen ones, never doubt God's justice. They may have tried to wear the cloak of victimhood, but God witnessed everything, and He will ensure your rise while they face the repercussions of their malicious deeds. Your victory has already been inscribed, and their downfall is certain. Trust in God's timing and know that as you ascend, they will descend. Maintain a pure heart, stay dedicated to your path, and witness how God moves in your favor. If you find this uplifting message resonates with you, connect with us at Chosen One Sanctuary for more inspiration and support. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. We are in this together.